the highest level of education achievement Toastmasters. This is the epitome of our core values, integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And all this stuff that you've had to go through to get this award, to earn this medallion, means everything. So what I'd like to do at this point, I want to try to recognize and give each one of them a few minutes or a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes max, please, so we can keep on time. But I want to give you the opportunity to express yourself and all it means to have earned this medallion and join the ranks of your fellow DTMs here within District 8. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all the District 8 Toastmasters who have earned their DTMs in the past year, starting with 2019, because they didn't receive it officially at the last conference because there were so many, we couldn't get to them. I did want to, and Dawn also expressed it. We want to recognize you guys. We want to make sure you get your opportunity in the spotlight because this is a big thing to me. So starting out with 2019, and as I introduce you, please turn on your camera and I'll turn the spotlight over to you for just a few minutes, 2 to 3, and let you express yourself, as I already said. So starting off in alphabetic order, 2019, 2020 DTMs that have earned the Distinguished Toastmaster Award, I'd like to bring to the spotlight Mr. David Kincaid and his better half, Miss Laura Mathers.
Thank you very much, RJ. Tonight closes a circle. The very first speech I gave to a Toastmaster audience of any kind was the night that I helped present the DTM award to my lovely wife, Laura, or Laura, depending upon your screen. It was an eye-opening experience. I didn't think I needed to join Toastmasters. I knew how to talk to public and express myself. But that night, I really fell down. I could not say what it meant in my heart to see her accept this kind of an award. And now here I am helping do it again to celebrate her earning her second DTM on the same night that I am celebrating earning my first DTM. Yes, it's a big award, but it's not my award, it's ours. It belongs to each and every person who helped me along the way. All of my mentors, and no, I'm not going to list them by name, and especially the woman who tricked me into becoming a Toastmaster in the first place. Because Toastmasters changed my life. This is not an end. This is a waypoint leading me forward to the next chapter in my Toastmaster journey. Laura? You're on mute.
That's all right. I got to practice. To my man in the arena, I will always be beside you. And if you look and I'm not there, just wait. You'll feel a slight nudge from behind. I'm still with you. Congratulations on your DTM, and I'm proud to be with you. Back to you, RJ.
Thank you, David and Laura. Congratulations. Next to bring to the spotlight, a gentleman I got to know a little bit back and have come to know him pretty well, Mr. Sam Cleese. Will you please take the spotlight, sir?
My time flies when you're having fun. It's hard to believe it, but I actually started my Toastmasters journey over 10 years ago at this point. I've had the pleasure of being in 2 different clubs. I started with Horace Mann Toastmasters Club while I was an employee there, and they basically started a Toastmasters club to help some of the technical people improve their communication skills. And I was one of those few people who really, really needed it. And I can say that I have benefited greatly from Toastmasters. So I've been with Toastmasters since 2010, and I've been part of Horseman Toastmasters, and later on I became club coach for League of Our Own Toastmasters, and also have been a member there ever since. Two great clubs in the Springfield, Illinois area. I also got the chance to be an area 10 director, which was an opportunity for me to meet a lot of great Toastmasters, and I believe that's when I met RJ as well. And I really learned a lot about Toastmasters and leadership in that role. So some of the things that Toastmasters have really helped me, some highlights that in my life, I gave a best man speech for one of my closest friends, and I know that I could not have given as moving a speech or as good of a speech if I had not been in Toastmasters, and it was great that I could contribute that way to his special day. I've really enjoyed Pathways. I got my DTM in the old system, but now I'm in Pathways, and my favorite project from that so far has been creating a podcast, and I've thought that that went really well, and I was happy to present on that at a past district event. And also, I would say I really owe my new job. I started a new job in August of last year. I really owe that to Toastmasters. Toastmasters gave me the confidence that I needed and the communication skills that I would needed to take on this new role. So it's made a huge impact in my life. I know it's made a huge impact in all of your lives. I encourage you to keep talking about Toastmasters to other people who are not part of it, because we know that it will benefit them too. Back to you, RJ.
Thanks, Sam. Awesome. And moving right along, how could we forget the guy that always is the life of the party, brings the fun to the fun? Let me introduce the next new distinguished Toastmaster, Mr. Artie Langston. Sir, the spotlight is yours.
Thank you so much, RJ. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I began my Toastmasters career back in 2006. The time has just flown by. It's been, oh my goodness, a decade and a half now. And in addition to my own personal growth, it's really been such a wonderful experience to make friends with so many wonderful people and see how Toastmasters has transformed their lives as well. I was very, very fortunate when I began Toastmasters because our club in Jefferson City has a history that goes back to the 1920s, even before Toastmasters was an organization. And we've been around for about 70 years now. When I first joined, two of the people who had an enormous influence on me were, of course, Dory Drummond, a dear friend. I'm so sorry she's not here to be with us this evening. One of the things that Dory did was to go around the room at one of the meetings and kind of hold everybody accountable and ask us what our goals were, why we were in Toastmasters, and what we hope to achieve. And of course, I was foolish enough to say, well, I'd like to get that DTM thing. That looks pretty neat. And Dory said, well, I will hold you to it. So wherever Dory is this evening, I hope that she can be aware of this and share in my accomplishment, because I owe her a lot. Also, Curtis and Cynthia Scroggins, my goodness, talk about a powerhouse team. They were just wonderful. And they always made everyone, regardless of the humbleness of the beginning accomplishments, to feel like it was a major accomplishment. On my shelf back here, I still have a couple of the neat little awards that they gave people. And it's been a fabulous experience. And it's been a great pleasure to, in the process of working on the DTM, to move beyond just my local club and get to know some of the folks at district and at Toastmasters International. They're just wonderful, wonderful people. And it's been a great experience in my life. And I hope to introduce other people to Toastmasters until I can't anymore. So with that, I like to encourage everyone, if you have not achieved this level, the journey is the best part of it. It's just a wonderful experience. It's something you'll never regret putting in the effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Artie. Well said, sir. Next, I'd like to bring to the virtual lectern here a young lady is part of one of my own home clubs. I got to know her very well, and she epitomizes everything that a DTM stands for. So let me bring to the spotlight Ms. Pam Marshall.
To my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, why is it never too late to earn a Distinguished Toastmasters Award? I began my leadership role 31 years ago as a pharmacy manager, 2 weeks after earning my pharmacy license. In this role, I mentored and developed pharmacy technicians, pharmacy students, and other pharmacists. I was promoted to a pharmacy supervisor almost 13 years later. Now, this role thrust me into a public speaking role as I continued to mentor and develop individuals. Formal training in both roles was very minimum at the beginning. I actually had a coach at the beginning of my supervisory role. The company later provided formal training for all members of leadership, but no one told me about Toastmasters, not even that coach. In late 2014, my sister-in-law attended a party of Toastmasters. She learned about Toastmasters and thought I would be interested. I attended my first meeting and was hooked. I joined in July 2015 and have loved it ever since. Toastmasters has improved my leadership and speaking skills. Although I'm still guilty of the ums and ahs, they have diminished exponentially since joining. I remember a tally of about 20 in one speech. Ugh. I began working towards my DTM and became even more excited as I achieved each level. I am no longer with that company nor in a formal leadership role. However, I just adore the friendship that I have gained along the way. Although I earned my Distinguished Toastmasters Award after I ended my formal leadership work roles, I have found much value by continuing with self-development and developing new and exciting friendships. I would like to thank everyone who helped me achieve this distinguished award, as I could not have done it alone. Fellow Toastmasters, family, and friends, thank you all. I look forward to making additional new friends and earning a second DTM. Back to you, Mr. RJ, Division Director.
Thank you, Pam. Well said, and congratulations. Next, I'm going to bring to the spotlight a gentleman that I think a lot of us or all of us well know, Mr. Don Martindale. The spotlight is yours, sir.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I earned a college degree in theater arts, but I decided to take a little more practical career approach, and I got a normal job in information technology just so I could feed my family. My unmet fine arts needs, however, kept me yearning and compelled me over the years to do something more. So around December of 2010, a friend invited me to the Shelter Insurance Toastmasters Club. I saw value in it, but I was busy and I wasn't sure that I wanted yet something else on my plate. But he continued to invite me, and after 3 test visits, the theater in me decided it was time to take the plunge. My icebreaker speech was entitled, "Excuse me, you majored in what?" I went on to tell tales of my experiences in the theater and how I'd majored in college. I told them how I played the lead role of Dracula and how I unwisely took on a dare from my buddies on closing night of, instead of biting Wilhelmina's neck, I planted a juicy yet elegant smooch on the lips of the very attractive leading lady. She was not impressed. What an opportunity to get up in front of an audience. My fine arts itch was finally getting scratched. And the leadership opportunities. Some of my president and vice president of education experiences were the most rewarding, as I helped to inspire fellow club members discover their talents, help them set their goals, and then see them reach them. At the district leadership level, I served as Area 21 governor and again in a later year as a district or an area director. I had the privilege of serving as club coach for the Good Neighbor Club 4043. I got to exercise leadership skills in my Leadership Excellent project regarding club growth involving new methods on a virtual platform. And finally, in May of 2020, Distinguished Toastmaster was achieved. So it took me almost 10 years. So what? I completed the quest. If it takes 3 years or 30, the adventure is definitely worthwhile. One of my favorite speeches was when I dressed up and impersonated JFK giving his "We choose to go to the moon" speech. He said, "We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." And so it is with Toastmasters. It's not easy, it's hard. But Toastmasters provides a safe laboratory where you can gain communications and leadership skills, receive the gift of feedback from your friends, and ultimately, through practice, replace fear with confidence. So thank you, District 8, and especially thank you, Shelter Insurance Toastmasters Club, for this amazing opportunity and this amazing DTM journey. Mr. District Director.
Thank you, Don. Well said. And welcome and congratulations, sir. Next, I know an individual gentleman that's never at a loss of words. If I wasn't getting a phone call at least a couple of times a week from this gentleman, it was unusual. So without any further ado, let me bring to the spotlight Mr. Art Stanzi.
It takes a village, to quote that well-known international figure, Elaine Curry. Well, this DTM took the best parts of 2 states. RJ, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Time does not allow me to list everyone who contributed to this quest for a DTM. Allow me to name a few. Bob Gergen, who dragged me back into Toastmasters in 2010. All the Crossroaders and quite a few Jeffco Challengers who listened to all those speeches and gave me great evaluations. Laura Mather, who made me an area director. Karen Leingang, Angie Brynan, Adrian Plus, the working committee. Barry Hammond, Mike Klutz, Zev Yudovich, the guidance committee for the DTM project. Bo Mitchell. We had the simultaneous brilliant idea to start Burns and McToasters at the St. Louis office of Burns and McDonald. Barry Hammond, Bob Heaton, and Dwayne Miller, fellow members of the Get Your DTM Before the Deadline support group. Karen Leingang and Becky Jordan, who introduced me to Mike DeRuccio, who let me mentor him through his first 3 speeches, providing the final piece of the DTM puzzle. Thank you. And thanks to all the Toastmasters who brightened this journey to Distinguished Toastmaster. Mr. Director.
All right, thank you, sir. Words of wisdom to live by. Next, the gentleman I got the privilege to know as he was serving as an area director. We had a lot of heart-to-heart talks, and his passion for helping out the clubs within his area was unrivaled. And I will pronounce his name, but I'm going to go back to what I usually refer to him, and like a lot of us endearingly referred to him. Instead of saying Shadam Baram Subai, I'm going to say Shadu. Shadu, the spotlight is yours, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you, RJ. Fellow Toastmasters, looking back, I probably took the most time to get to a DTM in this group. I came to the US here in 1997. The first thing my recruiter told me was like, hey, You should join Toastmasters. You're too shy. And she recommended Toastmasters to improve my interviewing skills. I became a dual member of two clubs, the Creve Coeur Toastmasters, and it used to be called the President Toastmasters in those days. I ended up getting two excellent mentors, Chuck Carpenter and Angel Chisholm. People who have been here for a while, you probably remember them. They took more than a personal interest in me. They introduced the country to me more than they introduced Toastmasters to me. They mentored me through the first 10 speeches. And District 8 used to give a star CTM in those days, and I was a recipient of that award in 1999. Again, more than a mentorship, Toastmasters introduced me to this country like no other organization could have done. I saw the United States from the personal stories that members told through their speeches. I made a ton of friends. I've truly seen the culture of paying it forward across all the clubs. I've been a member of corporate clubs at MetLife, Unigroup, BJC, and now for the past 8 years at Edward Jones. And the kind of networking opportunity you get through Toastmasters in a corporate environment is just unrivaled. I attended my first meeting not knowing what to expect at the meeting. The thing I immediately noticed was everyone was welcoming and supportive. Everyone was working on their own goals while at the same time working towards the success of everyone else in the club. The last thing way back in '98 was I didn't expect to continue my journey for 23 years. And I took all of 22 years to get to my DTM. And the only thing that motivated me to get it was they told the program was going away. To be frank, I was giving a speech once every 2 months. And finally, like the last 2 years, I put on the gas pedal, pumped it up, and got through it. I'm currently a proud member of the Money Talks Club at Edward Jones. It's taken a lot of persistence and dedication to work through the various levels, and it has mainly been possible due to the encouragement of all my fellow members. I got the opportunity to be an area director for Area 18. That's when I met RJ. More than the DTM, I have made hundreds of friends across the Toastmaster organization over the years. I've truly cherished all the relationships, including the early ones, where I was a mentee, and today where I have the opportunity to mentor newer members start on their pathways journey. I've loved every minute of this journey, and I'll definitely keep paying it forward like all the mentors who did it for me. Thanks a lot, RJ. Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Shadu. Well said, sir. And next, I'd like to bring to the spotlight a lady that talked to me quite a bit, and I could see the passion coming through for Toastmasters. I'm glad to see she's earned her DTM. Let me bring to the spotlight Miss Rosemary Wilson.
RJ and fellow Toastmasters. I don't know if I'm having technical difficulties here. Okay, thank you. I joined Toastmasters in 2000. I changed careers from being a nurse to professional storytelling. And I knew I had to come to Toastmasters to become a better speaker, and that has happened. I want to give a shout out to Tom Kasha, who challenged me to finish the DTM after 20 years being a Toastmaster. And I appreciate his little bit of a nudge to help me get it done. I joined Midtown Clayton Toastmasters. I have been the Sergeant at Arms there for 20 years. I love the position. I was Sergeant at Arms for the district for 3 years. Love the position. I've met wonderful people across generations, across all kinds of careers, and learned very much from them. Tonight, I would just like to tell you one thing I did as a project during my DTM year called the English Language Learner Strategies. I found that Toastmasters did not have any literature on helping non-native English speakers in terms of learning how to speak English better. And over 50% of foreign-born or people who don't speak English from birth want to learn how to speak English better. So I took the time during my DTM year to look into how to help any Toastmaster mentor such a person to speak English language better. So if anyone wants information on the strategies and the smorgasbord of interventions to help you mentor that non-native English speaker, also known as an English language learner in your club, do contact me. My email is wilsonrosemary@me.com. I want to give a shout out to Sandy Cardis and Suresh Gopalakrishnan, who were on my committee. I have run this strategy by the manager of English as a Second Language. I have read books on linguistics. I put together something I think will be of value to you and your members if you choose to want to do it. Thank you very much for the award. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. And now let me bring on the 2020-2021 DTMs that earned their DTM this Toastmasters year. And to start off, your current division director for Division C, had a lot of talks with her. Actually, if you've not heard her speech on what her DTM journey was all about, I highly encourage you to ask her to give it to you and share it with you. So without any further ado, let me bring to the spotlight Miss Nicole Brady Arms. Nicole, spotlight is yours.
Thank you, RJ. Hello, fellow Toastmasters, family, and welcome guests. I can still remember more than 20 years ago, being a college student in my first public speaking course, being told individuals are more likely to fear speaking in front of a group of people than death. That haunted me and stayed with me throughout my college career and as I become a working professional. This DTM is very bittersweet, and especially the timing of it. I joined Toastmasters 5 years ago this past week. On April 6, 2016, I gave my very first icebreaker speech, and I can tell you, I was petrified. I literally read word from word for the speech that I had written. But I wasn't discouraged. I had some great individuals and mentors and people cheering me on along my journey. I can remember just being a new Toastmaster and being voluntold to be part of the youth leadership program that our club was going to sponsor. I enjoyed it so much that I went on to do it for 2 more years. So that means I kind of drug my son into it as well. You could see he's an honorary Toastmaster. When I started Toastmasters, it was under the old path, and I can remember looking at all the check boxes for what it would take to earn a DTM and feeling very overwhelmed. That was something that I wasn't quite sure that I wanted to do. I wanted to take it one speech at a time to be able to just feel comfortable and not use notes when giving a speech. Well, I can say through doing that, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And before you knew it, here I am, having served in officer roles as an area director and now as a Division C director. I would have never guessed that. The work that I have accomplished in earning my DTM led me to being able to advance that work. I want to give a quick shout out to those who supported me and cheered me on this journey. Sam Cluse, who is also a member of the Horace Mann Club, Nate Randall, and Kathy Brennan, and everybody else who I've met along the way. Thank you very much.
There we go. Next, I'd like to bring to the spotlight a gentleman I had the privilege of meeting, of all places, a demo meeting. Reached out to him with Mr. John Barry and asked him to participate in this demo meeting we put on for one of the new clubs that chartered shortly thereafter. So let me bring to the spotlight one of our newest DTMs, Mr. Daniel Coker. Daniel, the spotlight is yours, sir.
Okay. Testing 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. All right. Took me 4 years to go from joining Toastmasters to getting a DTM. That last year crammed more learning and more exhaustion in than I had thought I could reasonably manage here. Dozens of new lessons and skills, led the biggest thing I've ever led, and then topped that yet again in the same year, and came up with a slew of new acronyms for DTM, such as do too much. Worth it. I have to say, for me, the most surprising thing about actually being a DTM was not something I was expecting. Specifically, I had thought subconsciously, entirely subconsciously, that distinguished Toastmasters were amazing people who knew everything about speaking and who could be guaranteed to never, ever flub a speech. You're all laughing right now, but I really felt that way subconsciously. I'm a DTM. Once in a while, I still flub a speech. Of course, my good speeches have become great, so clearly I've learned something. I'll be honest, I'm looking forward very much to the International Speech Contest and seeing who the winner is. And therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will simply close with a list of thank yous to people who have particularly helped me along my way to this goal. My dad, who first got me interested in Toastmasters and helped with my HPL, among other things. My mom and sisters, who supported me through several things, including the year when I was very much a dog-tired man, DTM. Dawn Tucker, our own program quality director, who gave me some mentoring, various advice, helped with my HPL, and so on. Mike Oliva, some different help and advice. Laura Harris, quite a bit of help with the HPL, among other things. Tony Thornhill, several different pieces of advice and help. And all the rest, who are too numerous to mention. To all of you, I hope that you accept my DTM, distinctly thankful message. Back to you.
Thanks, Daniel. I'm going to have to remember that, dog tired. Next, moving on to our next newest DTM, I can't express how much I've had to come to depend upon him. Not only when I asked him to step up and fill a position that was critical to the district, but he did that in fine fashion. Actually exceeded all my expectations, which I already kind of felt like he would anyway, but he by far exceeded them. So without any further ado, let me bring to the spotlight Mr. Vic Madison. Victor, you're on the spotlight, sir.
Thanks a lot, RJ. My Toastmasters experience started in 1989 and 90. I wasn't a member then, but a friend, actually a guy that worked for me, was real fired up about Toastmasters, talked about it all the time. And over the years, I always thought it would be something fun to do. Fast forward to 2016, and my then 17-year-old kid was hitting me up for 25 bucks for something. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $100. And his eyes got big as saucers because he knows that I wouldn't whip that kind of money around like that. And he said, what do I have to do? I said, join Toastmasters with me. And he did, enthusiastically, gave his first 3 speeches, won Best Speaker all 3 nights. Incidentally, he took me for another $50 another time when he guessed a song was made by Peter Frampton that I didn't even know was made by Peter Frampton. I've learned to not bet against him. The third part of my journey to DTM after having joined became clear in 2018 and 19. I didn't join Toastmasters because I wanted an acronym after my name or because I wanted any sort of an award. I just thought it would be fun to do. But when they changed the rules, I figured, gosh, I'm already 80% of the way through. I may as well push it through. So I was unbeknownst to me, in a club of people that were doing the same thing. When I did this, I really learned a lot about balanced membership. It wasn't just about me, and it wasn't just about my club. It was about other members. It was about members in an area or in a district or now in the region. And my high performance leadership program, or project rather, led me to identify a problem that I think is really serious. And we developed a solution for it that we may be advancing a little bit further, which is the idea that we can create a tool that will do a really great job of managing club membership, the role management, and scheduling. And it would do that in a real creative way, which I think could be very useful. It helped me learn to collaborate with a lot of other people throughout the district. It's the second thing. The third thing is it led to a lot of growth. For example, getting involved in the area leadership, now division, even a turn on the trio last year. And I guess on one sense, it's kind of like climbing a mountain, getting to the top, or becoming a Boy Scout and becoming, and finishing with an Eagle Scout. But it's really just the beginning of something that's really cool. I'm not really sure what happens next. I've got a division to help grow, but I'm looking forward to figuring out what's next in my Toastmasters challenge. I'm grateful for all the people along the way that helped make it happen. And I'm thrilled to have been on the trio with Dawn and with RJ, and I appreciate their leadership, and I look forward to next year. Thank you, Mr. District Director.
Thank you, Vic. Look like you're having fun down there at the lake house. Wish I was with you right now.
Well, come on down. We're having a lot of fun. It's absolutely beautiful. I have brand new carpet that got installed all throughout the day.
Okay, thanks, sir. Next, I'd like to bring a gentleman to the spotlight that I first met when we were forming a newly formed club out in Quincy, Illinois. I got to know him a little bit through the interactions with everything he was doing to get this club online and chartered. So without any further ado, let me bring to the spotlight Mr. Ray Reed. Ray, the spotlight's yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. District Director, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. A Toastmasters journey starts for each of us at a different point and for different reasons in our lives. Many journeys are smooth and straight. The goals are met and then people move on. But some journeys are long and arduous and require more time and effort to compete. Looking back, it appears that my journey is like one of these awards where maybe it takes longer than ever to achieve. I can remember when George C. Scott was the Toastmasters president of Toastmasters International back in 1975 and 76. Before you get upset though, think about it. The George C. Scott that I'm talking about was a businessman in the Portland, Oregon area, not the actor living in Southern California. Over the years, due to job changes, transfers, etc., I've not always been able to continue my membership in Toastmasters. There have been gaps, and some of them have been major gaps. However, I've been blessed with the opportunity to visit many Toastmaster clubs in various portions of the United States over the years. Toastmasters has been a dynamic and goal-oriented experience in my life, and I recommend it to all who I see and can. I truly wish to thank the members of the Gym City Toastmasters clubs in Quincy for the help and support they've given me. My membership there now is the longest that I've been in any Toastmasters club in my life. Receiving this Distinguished Toastmaster Award truly is a highlight in my Toastmasters career, which, by the way, I continue for the foreseeable future. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. I look forward to meeting and visit with many of you at future district conferences. Mr. District Director.
Thank you, Ray. Well said, sir, and congratulations. Next, I'd like to bring to the spotlight a lady that I got to know well over the past couple of years, especially the first time I traveled down to Lebanon, Missouri, and spoke before a group she put together just to present Pathways to them when we were just introducing Pathways and it wasn't really well received. So with that, let me bring to the spotlight Miss Teresa Stewart. Teresa, spotlight is yours.
No, this is fine.
Thank you, District 8 Director, Toastmasters, and guests. I joined Toastmasters 8 years ago to improve my leadership and communication skills. I wanted to make a difference, a bigger difference in other people's lives through my job, my family, just every area of my life. I have found it to be rewarding, exciting, challenging, but most of all, fun learning experience. two of the most challenging endeavors that I accomplished in Toastmasters was Division E Director a couple of years ago. It got me outside my comfort zone. I learned to perform some leadership skills that I didn't do every day, and I loved it. It empowered me to move on to host or charter a club in Lebanon, Missouri. Now, that wasn't a dream of mine when I first joined Toastmasters. But I changed my mind when a couple of my friends in Lebanon asked about, why can't we have a Toastmasters club? So we made a plan and we started talking to the radio. We talked to the newspapers. We put up flyers everywhere. We invited our friends. We did this process for over a year, well over a year. And we were making progress. We had several members. We had a lot of interest, but we were gaining members until this pandemic hit in 2020, and it just stopped things. As a result of that, we lost our meeting room, which is a really, really nice meeting room. We did start on Zoom because to keep our meetings going and keep the momentum going, but it was starting to come to a halt because some people were afraid of Zoom. It was a challenge to get people on Zoom. It was a fairly new thing to do that. We were starting to become discouraged. And at that point, and we're thankful for all the Division 8 directors and officers came to our aid to encourage us, to make suggestions to us with charting our club and just telling us we can do this. And after a while, we began inviting people outside of Lebanon and asking them to join. So we've had people to join our meetings from New York, Arizona, Washington, D.C., just all over the U.S. And in November of 2020, we chartered our club and we called it Continental Communicator Toastmasters Club, otherwise known as Lebanon Toastmasters. We had half our local members and the other half were across the U.S. I just want to say thank you to Toastmasters and thank you to all the division officers and friends that helped me in this process. And I just think it's wonderful to be part of this club where we can go out and empower others to reach their goals.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thanks.
And now I get to address, because everybody was kind of concerned, you're not doing this in the proper order. I intentionally saved this gentleman until last because I first met him down in Fort Lindenwood area when I went to one of the clubs down there that he was actually leading as an area director, but was a member of this club. And I was actually privileged enough to sit on or be part of his committee for high performance leadership. And I was so impressed at the strides he made through his growth and everything that else I witnessed on his journey to his DTM. I'm so happy to see him presented or be given his DTM tonight. And I will add this, he was last minute. We got this pushed through Toastmasters International so we could present it tonight. So with that, let me bring to the spotlight without any further delay, Cheyenne Padel. Sir, the spotlight is yours.
I grew up in a beautiful village in the western region of Nepal. English is not my mother tongue. In 2008, I came to the United States for college. I was 17 years old. Because of my poor English, I did not have friends in college. I was shy. I wanted to get better. I wanted to improve my communication skills. 7 years ago, I was in Peoria, Illinois. I was at a Caterpillar foundry in Mapleton, Illinois, at my internship with my graduate advisor, Dr. Smith. An accountant there introduced me to Toastmasters. After joining Toastmasters, I have improved my communication and leadership skills. Over the course of last 7 years, I had the opportunity to meet many interesting people. I had the opportunity to start a corporate club where I was later offered a full-time job, and I work there today. In 2018, I was asked to lead one engineering team. And just this year, I was asked to lead another larger engineering team at my current employer. I take my Toastmasters learnings to work. I also bring my learnings from my work to Toastmasters. Toastmasters have been the best thing that have ever happened to me. Whenever there is an opportunity, I brag about it to my colleagues, friends, everybody. Now, this journey has been long, but very fulfilling. I appreciate the support from my PhD advisor, Dr. Smith, my clubmate, San Cisco, my mentor, RJ Stratton, for being there for me when I needed, and especially my club president, Amanga. If she had not pushed me last year, I had only a few months to get done with a bunch of speeches. And if she was not there for me, I would have not been able to close this. Thank you, Amanga. I plan to continue and stay engaged with Toastmasters. And tonight, I wish you all, new and old DTMs, well, and congratulations. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Now, at this point, well, before I get to that, I would be almost remiss if I didn't make honorable mention. Miss Karen Turner was supposed to be here tonight, but had a family emergency. So she won't be able to share with her concerns, but I did want to make sure that I mentioned she is one of the newest DTMs for this current year. So Miss Karen Turner, like I said, honorable mention. And at this point, I'd now like to introduce you to your new DTMs. And what I'd like to do, I'll do a count of 3, but I'd like to have all the new DTMs, only the new DTMs, turn on your video at this time. So with that count, 3, 2, 1. Let's give them a hand. Okay, now keep your cameras on. Now what I'd like to do is ask all the DTMs within the district that are now in these in our current ranks, I guess I could say it that way, but all the new DTMs, please, I'm not DTMs, all the DTMs within District 8, please turn on your cameras at this time. 3, 2, 1. All the DTMs within District 8. Awesome looking group. Thank you. I can't tell you how proud this moment is. Just look at the ranks.
Woohoo!
Oh, Farzana can't start her video either.
And the crowd goes wild. And they keep coming.
I'm not sure why. Let me get mine too. I can't get to my buttons fast enough here. Awesome.
Mine won't unmute, so.
I can't do mine. I can't do anything either.
Wow.
Me either.
Says you can't start your video because the co-host has stopped it.
Huh.
Aw.
Who would have done that? I don't think.
Who said that? We'll give you permission. I did.
There we
Is that
go.
something I did, Tom? I don't know. Is that something I did by accident?
I'm not sure what happened.
I didn't touch any buttons this time, I swear.
Mine also says the host has stopped my video sharing.
Huh. Well, I guess that killed my next lead in. I was going to say, well, all future DTMs, please turn on your cameras Got to bring a little bit of levity to it with all these obstacles we're running into.
So take a picture and we could call to action for all of them when they haven't got it yet. When are you getting it?
Oh, good idea.
Print screen.
Hey, even though I can't see your cameras on, I can still see the names, and I'm again proud to be amongst this group. This is awesome. So I guess, Don, are we going to move on into now? I guess that concludes our ceremony. Is there anything else you'd like me to do, dear? Oh, let me say one last parting note. I will share this just for the new DTMs that we were on Spotlight tonight and spoke. Got a chance to speak from last year that didn't receive it, and this year's DTMs that did receive it. You will be getting, I will be mailing out your medallion, which was engraved on the back like all prior DTMs that are current members of District 8. I engraved it, personalized it for you. You will be receiving this in the mail as soon as I can get it out to you. I do have them. So I wanted to make sure I let you know. You'll be getting your medallion. With that, Dawn, I'm going to turn it over to you, dear, because I think that concludes everything. My portion of it. And I really thank you for letting me do the ceremony.
My plaque, and maybe I'll sit there.
Thank you, RJ. Nicely done. I believe it is time to turn control of this big event over to Deborah.